Providence, Rhode Island, where moments ago police arrested a person of interest in Saturday's deadly shooting at Brown University. 2 people are dead, 9 more have gunshot injuries. All of the victims are students. Moments from now, a press briefing is set to get underway. When that happens, we will bring that to you live. But right now, let's get to NewsNation's Marcus Espinoza. He is on the ground for us in Providence. Marcus, what do we know about this arrest of a person of interest in this shooting right now?
Hey, Kelly, good morning. Extremely new information that we're getting in about that person of interest taken into custody. That took place at about 3:45 a.m. at a local Hampton Inn. That's about 20 minutes from where I'm standing right now on campus. So that is extremely breaking news. Moments ago, that information came into us. We're reporting it to you. You mentioned it there. A press conference is expected right now, any minute. If that happens, we will immediately go to that as well and bring you that latest update. Law enforcement officials, the mayor, the city, and the university have been extremely communicative throughout this entire process, as well as they can be in trying to get information out. Here's the latest, and here's what we know so far. That lockdown is now lifted for the campus here. That was in effect since about 4 p.m. yesterday through midnight, and then was lifted recently this morning. So operations have resumed as normal. And then, of course, let's talk about the suspected shooter and the new video that was released last night after 9 p.m. There it is right there. That police say is the suspect who exited the engineering building after unleashing mayhem, killing 2 people, injuring 9 others. They shooting those individuals. We have several critical as well as others recovering in the hospital. But I just want to keep that video up because that is the latest video we have of the suspect right now. So again, that was key information that came out last night, and I want to go over some of that detailed information there as far as what we have right now. 2 dead, 9 injured, several recovering at Rhode Island Hospital. 6 of those patients were critical but stable. 1 patient is critical. Another patient is in stable condition. And then an additional victim was also admitted to that hospital late last evening in one of the updates that they talked about, who they believed received injuries from shrapnel, not a gunshot wound. Also, information that came out last night. This happened in the first floor of this Barris Holly Engineering building. It was a first floor classroom. They believe the suspect could be in the 30s, unsure of how many students were inside that classroom, Kelly. No footage as of yet of shooter inside that building that identifies him. The shelter in place was in effect through last night. They said no threat beyond campus as of yesterday, and then they also lifted that lockdown as well. And I want to also talk about something that the mayor said. Let's listen in to what he had to say last evening about information, if you have any of any kind, to send in, even though they just put somebody into custody, a person of interest. That information still vital. Take a listen.
To the community, if you have some of those Ring cameras or other video that you think might be relevant, please call us and share it with us. We do not at this time have video that we have seen of the individual coming into the building or moving throughout the building, but that doesn't mean that we will not discover it. We are actively working this investigation as we speak.
Yeah, Kelly, so I think that was a frustrating part for a lot of folks trying to understand why there is a struggle for more video. But that is extremely clear video of him walking out of the building onto Hope Street, out of that engineering building. Again, 3:45 a.m. this morning, a person of interest taken into custody. That is the description we have right now. We do not have any official word that it is the shooter or that it is anybody else. We just have a person of interest. Press conference was scheduled for 7 o'clock this morning.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.